Today's assignment, we are going to Sharpie our designs for our color wheel, and we're also going to add some texture and designs to our color wheel to make it look more interesting. You're going to need the fine Sharpie, which is the bigger one, and then the ultrafine. So the first step is we're going to outline our triangles. And then we're going to do 2 lines of it, so we want the line to be thick. So I just drew another line right next to it. I'm going to do that for the entire triangle. Okay, so it should look like a really, really thick line. Now I'm going to do the dashes, and I'm going to do the same thing with the dashes. I'm going to draw the line and then go right underneath it and draw another line to make them thick dashes. Okay, I finished doing those. Now, I'm going to draw my color splotches or whatever you might have designed, and I'm going to use the big Sharpie. So that's the fine Sharpie, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to draw my color splats here. I'm kind of redrawing them because I don't really like the way I drew them the first time, so they may not exactly be on the line. Okay, and I'm going to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ultrafine, the skinny Sharpie, and now I'm going to write my letters. Okay, once you have that finished, then we're going to work on what's down below. So let me stretch out my camera here. There we go. And now I'm going to draw my rectangles using the large Sharpie. So I'm going to go in and do that. I am not going to worry about doubling up the lines like we did up here. And then I'm also going to do my circles. Once I'm finished with that, I'm going to take my ultrafine, the skinny one, and I'm going to write my words. Okay, so I have that done. The next step is to take an eraser, and now I'm going to erase all of this, but we're not finished. So go ahead and erase the entire page. The next step is that I'm going to add a little bit of 3D to my color wheel, and I'm going to do that by taking my ultrafine Sharpie, and I'm going to go on the right side of my paint splatter. I'm going to do that on each one. Okay. Now I have a couple of options here. I can fill this in dark, like make it a solid color. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it just a little bit more interesting. Now you could add lines, you could add polka dots. Like I said, you could fill it in solid if you want to. You could mix and match it if you wanted to. I'm just going in and making mine look the same. So I'm going to go through each one of these and do that, and I'll be back. Okay, that looks really cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to put a rectangle around my lettering. And this is something that you're going to want to do yourself. Okay, and then I'm going to add a shadow and fill that shadow in. You will need to do this yourself as well. Look how that looks 3D, like it's popping out. Isn't that cool? Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time for you, and then I'll let you do it for yourself. So I'm putting kind of a curvy looking rectangle. I go down just a little bit from the side here, follow the shape, come down, and then stop short right there, and then fill it in. And I am using my ultrafine skinny Sharpie. Okay, so now I'm going to pause and work on the rest, and so you should work on yours as well. Awesome. It is looking fantastic, don't you think? I think yours is probably looking just as great. Okay, so then we have to do something with all of this down here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some textures to the circles. And it's basically going to be kind of like what we did here, but it's going to be in the shape of a moon going around the circle. And we are using the ultrafine Sharpie. That's the skinny one. And we're just going around the shape. Okay, now we're going to add some things here as well. But first we need to take care of the neutral that is black. We're going to use black Sharpie to fill that in. So I'm going to take my regular Sharpie and fill that in. So the next step is we're going to add some what we call stippling to our squares here. It's not going to show up in the black, so we're not going to even bother with doing the stippling in there. But you're going to pick a side. It can be the left side or the right side of the square. But once you pick a side, it has to stay the same on all three squares. So I'm going to come in and I'm just adding polka dots or dots to one side. And I'm going to do that on the same side for each one of my squares. Once again, I am using the big Sharpie. It's called the fine Sharpie. And I'm going to do that over here as well. Now, if all of this makes you nervous doing it with Sharpie first, if you want to do it with pencil first, you can do that. But just remember, once you Sharpie, you have to erase it. Wow, look at that. This is looking fabulous. Okay, so what I would do, give it a couple seconds to make sure that it's dry, and then I would take an eraser and go over everything one more time to make sure there's no pencil showing, because I see some places that I may have forgotten as I was going through and drawing. And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to erase the whole thing. Then this is all we're doing today. Do not add color. This is step 2, and you need to put it into your graded sketchbook. And then we will do step 3 tomorrow.